we are on the mission to upskill 50 million Pakistanis in the next 10 years. So we have different programs, web app development, mobile app development. So on mobile app development, we have Usama Sarwar with us. So, and he will be giving us a workshop on Flutter app development. And this event is brought to you by uh, Nation and Google Flutter team. So, Osama, over to you. We would love to hear a bit of your background, your experience, and then you can start with the entire presentation. Over to you, Osama.
Thank you, Mudassar. It's been an honor for me. And let me introduce myself. My name is Usama Sarwar, and I'm a lead Flutter developer. And I have around 2 years of experience in Flutter. And let me share my screen. I hope I'm visible to all of you. So, what I did throughout my career, let me explain myself. All right, so basically, I'm graduated from Comsys University, Islamabad, and I'm currently working in US and also working Nation on the mission to empower our youth. And if we talk about my expertise, so I have worked with 20 plus programming languages, and my tools and technologies include uh, from from graphic designing to programming tools, office tools, and I have also worked on some technologies like Flutter, Oracle, Firebase, Firestore, and WordPress as well. And you can always have a look at how I achieved this level and all my career outlines on Google as well. So heading towards our today's topic, that is Flutter. So heading towards the official website of Flutter, we have flutter.dev. So let me tell you about Flutter. Basically, Flutter is a UI framework that is basically a front-end technology. So what does it actually do? It builds your application for all platforms from single code base. So what does it actually means? We will explore in this session. So let's navigate through the Flutter official website. Then we will be doing some coding stuff. We will see how to build a project and how to start with the Flutter. And also I will be covering the installation procedure because I got requests from many of the developers. They are expert in other languages, and now they want to start their career with Flutter. So let's start. All right. So for the very first impression of Flutter is build apps for any screen. So definitely, it's a cross-platform technology, and you can build applications for multiple devices. So if I scroll down, so I will know about some details of Flutter, that it is fast. Most of you might come from Kotlin or from Swift environment, that is native development. So in that development, that takes a lot of time in development and shipping. But if we talk about Flutter, so development time and all the cost cuts to half almost. So this is what it says, that Flutter is fast when it comes to development. It is also productive because we have features like hot reload. We will be experiences all these features in real time, and we will do hands-on experience in some time. But let's see. Let's first explore that what Flutter is actually, and it is also flexible. So what does it mean? That doesn't matter what is the size of your screen, what is the orientation of your screen. Flutter is so flexible that it can automatically adjust itself. So definitely, if we talk about our client side, so it's a multi-platform. So definitely reach users on every screen. So definitely if application is available on multiple platforms, so user will be able to use on any preferred platform. For example, I'm a developer. I use most of the time on laptop, so I mostly use applications like on the web or on the desktop. uh, and most of the users, they are not well aware of desktop technology. They would like to use their apps on mobile, on tablets. So all these options we have. Then we have transform your workflow. Definitely, we have amazing techniques here. For example, we can automate or testing, development, and everything else that you need to build production quality. Definitely, Flutter supports automation testing as well. Uh, Actually, this is some advanced topics. I will not explain further because this is just a beginner session. So I will try to cover just the basic things, that what Flutter is about, and how to get into Flutter. All right, so these are the tech giants who adopted recently Flutter. Definitely Google itself, because it's a product of Flutter. And we have some famous giants like BMW, Alibaba, eBay. We have Toyota, we have Times. So all these companies have adopted Flutter. And definitely this is supported by Google, open to everyone. It is totally open source. All right. So if we talk about the backend technology, as I have already told you that Flutter is a UI framework. So most of the beginners ask me that what is the difference? What is the Dart? What is the Flutter? So let me explain what is Dart and what is Flutter. So if we talk about the development procedure, it is mainly divided into two segments. The first one is the front end technology, and the second one is back end technology. So if we talk about the front end, you see all the layouts, you see buttons, you see the navigation, you see all these things that you can see. This is actually called the front end. And if I talk about that, I'm clicking on this button and it is performing some functionality. So that is actually the backend aspect of development. So if we talk about the backend, that how backend is can be deal in Flutter. So Google has provided us a language, that is a programming language, that is Dart. So Flutter is powered by Dart, a language optimized for fast apps on any platform. And the second question that arises in the beginner's mind, that why to use Dart for Flutter? Why we can't use any other? So the answer is yes. You can use any other programming language. For example, you can also use Flutter as well. Oh, I'm sorry. You can use Python, you can use Java, you can use any programming language with Flutter. So I hope now your concept is a bit clear. All right, and as I have already told you that it's open source, so anyone can contribute. And if you have a look on my GitHub profile, let me show you. I'm also contributor of one of its packages, that is GetX, that is a state management system. So if you see my profile, so these are my actually projects, and some of my projects are open source projects. And as a beginner, you can also get the source code, and you can also explore them. For example, I have application and source code for Nina News app, that is Iraqi national news agency, and source code is available on the GitHub. And also I have a bunch of applications on my GitHub account. You can also go there and you can explore yourself. So this is actually I want to show you GetX contributor. So if you click on it, all right, so it's loading contributors, and you can see my name here. All right, I'm here. So I have a total of 9 commits and 1058 lines of code that I have. contributed. So this is GetX, that is state management solution for Flutter, and this is number one most liked Flutter package. And you can also contribute in Flutter, and it is open source and it is always open to everyone. All right, so now it's time to get started. So let's see how to get started with Flutter and what we can explore with Flutter. So for that, we need to click on get started, and let me click on it. Okay, so first thing first, we need to have installation environment, and definitely most of you will have Windows, and some of you might have Mac OS, some of you have Linux, and some of you have Chrome OS. So I will uh, click on one by one. So first, I will start from Chrome OS. Let's see. So for Chrome OS, you must have a Chrome OS 64-bit with Linux beta turned on. So actually, if you have ever used Chrome OS, there is an option Linux beta. So you need to turn on if you want to run Flutter on Chromebook or Chrome OS. And you must have this disk space of 600 MB, and you can use all these tools with Flutter. All right, and if you have Linux, and developers love it, definitely. So if you have Linux, so you must have 64-bit. Although I have tested Flutter with 32-bit as well, it works, but it is not as perfect as on 64-bit. So I would recommend to go with if you have Linux, if you want to install Linux, you should install 64-bit operating system, and you must have disk space 600 MB. That is the least space required for Flutter, and this doesn't include free space for IDE and other tools and other stuff. If we talk about Mac OS, if you are on Mac OS, definitely you should have Mac OS. And most of beginners ask me that which version of Mac OS you should have. So you can install Flutter on any Mac OS version. Currently, I haven't heard any of such difficulty from any of the developer that is using Mac OS, and he is unable to install Flutter on it. So basically, you can download and install Flutter on any Mac OS system, and have 2.8 GB of disk space. This is because you need to have Xcode and all that stuff that take a lot of space. So that is why you should have at least 2.8 GB of disk space. So now everyone's choice, that is Windows, and most of you having Windows. So if you are having Windows, so you must have Windows 7 SP1 or later, and 64-bit variant with 8664 based system, and you must have a disk space of 1.6 GB. That does not include your disk space for IDE and other tools as well. And for the command line, you can use Windows is a premium in Windows 10, Windows 11 as well, and you or optionally you for Windows. System requirements, and if we talk that how to install it, so for the installation, you need to download the SDK, and after downloading the SDK, you need to update environmental variable. And I found the best documentation ever at flutter.dev. So if you follow this documentation step by step, I guarantee you must not have any question. But if still you have, you can always you're always welcome to ask me. I'm available on weekends, and I will try my level best to respond you. All right. After setting up your environmental variables, you need to run Flutterdoctor, and it will tell you about the state of Flutter in your system, and it will tell you everything that either Flutter is installed or not. All right. And if it says some error, for example, Android SDK is missing, command line tool, download. So definitely Flutter also tells you about all the possible errors that are faced by most of the developers. And if you are still facing the errors, so you must know that you have your best friend, that is Stack Overflow, and you have GitHub. So you can always go there and state your issue there, and a lot of developer community is there to help you. And after that, for the Android setup, you need to install Android Studio. So some of the developers also ask me about that, why to install Android Studio when you can code on VS Code. And also I also prefer VS Code, and I love that editor VS Code, because it is very lightweight, it is very responsive and fast. But why to install Android Studio? So it is very necessary, because Android Studio has all the requirements for building your Android toolchain. So most of the developers find it difficult to download Android toolchain in their system. So that is why I would recommend that you must install Android Studio. And if you are using Mac, then you must have Xcode. Otherwise, you won't be able to develop iOS applications. So I hope so these were some confusions and these might clear. All right. After that, set up your Android device. So definitely, every Android device does not have developer options enabled by default. So for that, what you need to do, you need to go to your About section. First, you need to go to your settings. Then you need to go to your About, and then you need to tap multiple times on your build number. Probably 7 times or 8 times would enable the developer options feature. And after that, you need to turn on the USB debugging on your device. And this will enable the developer options, and you will be able to launch your application on Flutter. And definitely, you need to attach your USB, your data cable to your computer or PC or laptop, any device you are using. Although you have also a feature of ADB, and you can also test your applications over wireless, and we will be covering all these topics and all these tips on our upcoming sessions. So after that, if you haven't your Android device, then and you also want to set up your emulator, so you can also set up your emulator as well, and you need to agree Android licenses. If you will not agree Android licenses, Flutterdoctor will give you error. And yeah, this is all about installation about Windows. So and let me tell you more about Mac OS as well, because it's a bit difficult. So first thing first, you need to extract first of all, you need to download the folder that is Flutter Mac OS stable. This is basically the SDK, software development kit for Flutter. After that, you need to extract these files in the development folder, and you need to unzip it. After unzipping it, you need to set your path. And this is basically the most technical path that is difficult for the new developers that are currently using Mac OS, or they just shifted from Windows to Mac OS. So it also took me a lot of time to understand this, that how to set a path on Mac OS system. But finally I got this. So this is very important thing. If you are not updating your path, so your system will not be able to understand any command or any of Flutter commands. And after, you need to run Flutterdoctor, and it will tell you that what is going wrong, or everything is all right, and you are good to go with Flutter. And you can also download your SDK from the Flutter's official GitHub. You can clone it. If you are familiar with DevOps, like how to clone, how to merge, how to fork, we will also be doing a workshop on GitHub, that how to use GitHub, and how you can clone, how you can fork the projects, and how you can be a open source contributor on GitHub. like I am a contributor on this, that is actually a Flutter's famous package. All right, so after updating your path, you need to install Xcode. So what is Xcode? Xcode is basically an IDE that is very compulsory for iOS development. If you do not have Xcode installed, you cannot build iOS application. Doesn't matter you have Flutter installed and you have macOS. You must need to have Xcode as well. And then as we installed emulator on your Windows, so we will be doing simulator. So basically there's also a bit confusion on the for the beginners, that what is the difference between simulator and emulator. So actually it is not so complicated. So basically if you are on Windows and you are launching some Android virtual Android phone, so that is emulator. And if you are on Mac OS and you are launching some virtual phone, so that is basically simulator. So nothing complicated in this concept. All right, so after that you need to create your application. And how to create application, and this is the command flutter create, and after that write that how to create the application. All right, let me check out the comments as well. All right. Create, can we not the iOS app if we do not have. All right, a LinkedIn user asked that if we do not have a MacBook, we cannot build iOS app. Yes, if you do not have MacBook plus Xcode, you cannot build iOS application. All right, so moving next. All right, so and then there are some steps to configure your Xcode, and all the documentation is here. If you follow the step-by-step guideline, you will get to know about each and everything. And after installing the Xcode, then again it comes to Android setup, and I have also explained that how to do this. All right, so now was all about we explored a bit about Flutter. So now let's check out the cross-platform functionality. For example, if we are on mobile, so what it is providing us for the mobile. So this is the iOS app, and this is the Android app. And if you look at the both have the same look and feel. And if you check out the experience, so you can have a look at this, and definitely build for all as one team. So basically if there are two teams, the one for Android and the second is one for iOS, so they face a lot of conflicts, for example in meetings and in UIs. So Flutter just simple that you just need to code once, and it will automatically build your application for Android and iOS as well. And yeah, we have some case studies over here that you can explore it later. All right. Then we have a stable version of Flutter Web after the coming of Flutter version 2.5. Before this, Flutter Web was very unstable and there were a lot of bugs, but now it is very stable. And I'm also very happy because I mostly use Flutter Web, and it is very all right. So we have some features like shared code base. Definitely, we have shared code base for desktop as well, for web as well, and for mobile as well. And yeah, another feature that I forgot to tell you about, that if we are going to make a prototype on it, so that is very fast. For example, if we look at this image, so we need to understand that how Flutter is managing these screens. So this is the web variant, and this is the laptop device, and the image will adjust itself, that it is the mobile, it is the tablet, and it is a laptop. So it will adjust automatically, and it is so responsive. We also have a great support for PWAs. I will be showing you in some time. All right, then we have desktop applications. We can also build desktop applications with Flutter. And yeah, definitely we have we can build applications for Windows. We can also build for Mac OS and also for Linux. And yeah, it has native functionality. I will be telling you that why it has native functionality and why I am calling this. And definitely its scale, yeah, desktop support it has. And yeah, and the most important thing, that you have embedded support on Flutter as well. And most of the developers just ask me, I'm talking about the beginner developers. They just ask me that what is the embedded. So let me explain you that what is the embedded devices and what are the embedded softwares, and how Flutter, how you can build it with Flutter. So basically, if you, yeah, definitely most of you have uh, vehicles like cars. So they have what we can say, a panel in the center, and it has some software like interface, and you can interact with your car as well. For example, if I talk about specifically like Tesla, so this is so all the softwares that are installed in that car, that are basically embedded, and that devices that are operated by that software, those are embedded devices. For example, if you have ever seen the smart rooms or smart houses concepts, so this is the interface. That, for example, if you need this is the family room light, and if you need to decrease it, you can decrease it from here. Although you can do the same thing from your mobile device as well, but if you have fixed panel with the device, that can be called as embedded device. Although it is also a software, but when software combines with the hardware and on a custom demand, that is basically called embedded. So Flutter has support for embedded softwares as well, and you can build embedded devices as well. And if we talk about the case study, so Toyota is currently using Flutter, as I told you about, specifically about the car like Tesla. So in automobiles industry, Toyota has adopted Flutter. So this is all the case study, and you can have a look at it. All right, so now let me show you some of examples of Flutter and why it is interesting. So let me show you. For example, there's my portfolio on Usama.dev. So if you have mobile devices, I will request you to open this website, Usama.dev. I basically, when I was explaining Flutter Web, I asked you about that. I will explain, I will show this later, that what are PWAs, and Flutter has support for it. So this is my portfolio. And for example, if I need to have, me, okay, that was full screen mode and now it's not. Okay, if I install this, for example, this is a software. This my portfolio is a software, for example, and I want to install it on my Mac OS natively. So what I need to do, I simply need to click here. I will see an icon in Chrome. I'm currently using Chrome browser, and I simply need to click here, and after that I need to click install, and this application will be installed on my MacBook. And if I show you my applications on my MacBook, So let me show you. For example, I have applications. All right, let me, yeah. So these are my applications, like App Store, Safari, Mail. So, and if I navigate here, so I will find this application here. And if I click on it, so this application will be opened. So my portfolio is also made on Flutter. And yeah, I asked you uh, to open Usama.dev on your devices as well. So if you are using iPhones, for example, so you need to open it on the default browser, and after that you need to go to your options, and you need to click on add to home screen. So you will see that you will have a standalone application of Flutter in your phone. So please have a look. If you have any question, you can always ask. I'm checking out the questions after every 5 minutes. And same case with the Android. If you launch this website, usama.dev, on your Android, you need to go to the menu of your Chrome, and you need to click on add to home screen. And you will see you will have a standalone application in your Android mobile as well. And if you are taking and have joined this session on your Windows, so you need to do the same. You need to go to Chrome, and you need to write usama.dev, and you will have a little icon over there for installation, and you need to hit install, and the application will be installed on your system. So isn't it amazing? I think this is very, very interesting and very, very amazing technology that has potential to lead the tech industry. So, and second thing that most of uh, beginner developers ask me, that how Flutter is native. That Flutter is a UI framework, and we are using Dart as the backend. So how all these things are working? So let me tell you first of all that I have built my portfolio in Flutter with backend Dart. And if you are visiting the web, for example, Osama.dev, so all the code that is here is in JavaScript. So let me show you. If I go to if I inspect it and I go to elements, so I will see nothing here except head. So in my head, I hope my screen is visible to all of you. If not, please let me know. Oh, all right. So in this section, you will see only the tags, HTML meta tags on the head. For example, I have title tag that is over here. I have some description, keyword, author, report text, and these are actually the meta tags. And if I go there, go down, I will see there is a script. Yeah, this one, main.dart.js. So if I open it in new tab. All right. So now, if you have a close look at this, let me zoom it. So if you are familiar with JavaScript, so this is a pure JavaScript code. But a human cannot understand that what is written. Although if you know the syntax, you can understand that what is the meaning of this. But you cannot actually understand that what functionality it is performing. So basically, that is why I was calling it native. So this is all the code, JavaScript code in one file that is that is responsible for running the Flutter application. And I think it's a very long code. There is no line number mentioned here, and I think I cannot turn here. But probably it would be. it might be in over 10,000 line of code and all in JavaScript. So Flutter is responsible for this, for the conversion. And if we talk about the responsiveness, so if I resize my screen, yeah, I'm resizing my screen. All right, so we can also see that it is responsive. All right, so I hope till now you are much motivated for Flutter, and now let's see how to get your hands on Flutter, how to build a project, and let's see. All right, so for the project, first of all, you need to make a folder. For example, I already have a folder. Let me just delete it. And yeah, I need to open this folder in the terminal. All right, so I have opened this folder, and make sure that this is your username and this is the name of the folder in which you are running the command. So, all right, and most of your developers will find it very difficult to memorize these commands. And yeah, it is a bit difficult, but once you get 2-3 times on it, you will get familiar with it. And you can always have a look at, let me show you. You can always type Flutter capsule. I have capsulated all these commands in one file. So you need to write on the web Flutter capsule. So very first, you need to click on it, and yeah, you can click also on it here. Yeah, so here you will find all these commands. For example, you don't know how to create the project, so you need to click on Flutter create. So you will click on it, and you will have all these commands, and you need to simply copy it and just paste it on your terminal. And you have all the bunch of commands, for example, Flutterdoctor, Flutter devices, and what these commands do with their description and how to sign in. You will get all these commands here. All right. So for creating a project, you need to type Flutter create, and then you need to name your project. And for naming the project, you must understand one thing and keep one thing in your mind, that there are some rules, and the same rules that are applied for making variables if you're familiar with any of the programming language. So the same rule is applied here for making your project, that you cannot use special characters except underscore, or you cannot use spaces, and you cannot start your project name with numerics. So these are some tips that you need to consider for building your project for Flutter. So I'm naming it as like first project, and I need to hit enter. And if I show you that this was my folder, yeah, so it automatically created a project within project. So I need now I that inside the project. So let's do it. I have opened VS Code. That is my favorite IDE, and it is, I think, the most loved editor is VS Code. So preferences matter, although you can have another one. All right. Okay, let me check if you have any questions. Okay. Okay, so if we have a look inside this folder, so we have Android folder, we have iOS folder, we have lib, we have test. So we will know that what are this folder and what this folder is about. Okay, so these are basically ID like VS Code, so media and all the folders that are staying card folders. So and so if you have in Android, you have file your Android. If you're familiar with this and editor, so you will find everything here. So everything will be familiar to you. Then iOS, all the code for iOS, all the information. CF but name, for example, that is shown in your mobile, and you have all the stuff that is required for iOS. All right. All right. So I think there was okay. So let's change few things. For example, we have this that is more homepage. So I need to like definition was okay. So I told you about the functionality. So let me show you that if I click on this little icon, hot reload. So I just clicked on it and it turned the UI instantly. So this is the functionality of hot reload. All right. So let's play around. And for example, if I want to change the theme of my whole application. So what I need to do, I need to change parameter to, for example, red, and my whole theme will be changed. For example, my this button. Yeah, see here a little tag that is actually a debug tag. Let me just remove it. Okay, and go to it will vanish. Okay, so what this application is doing is try to understand that what is going over here. So if I click on this button, on this little floating action button, so I can observe that it is nothing but a counter that is incrementing by 1. So all right. Okay, so now this is actually the backend functionality, and if I show you, so I think most of your developers are already aware of counter plus plus. So basically, this is an alternative of counter equals to counter plus one. So let's change this logic and let's see if our application is responding to that or not. So for example, I am changing it to 100, and let me hot reload it, and let me now click on this little button, and I can observe that my application is now incrementing by 100 every time I am running to my button. So this is basically, and now if you look at this code, so this is very likely to be resembled with JavaScript, with C++, or most of programming languages uses the same syntax. So this is basically, and where Flutter is, look at some widgets, for example, like we have Scaffold, where it is, yeah, this is Scaffold, and we have this app bar that is over here, and so this is basically Flutter widget. So mainly everything in Flutter is a widget. If you look at this text, this is a widget. If you look at app bar, if you look at this button, this is a widget. So everything in Flutter is a. So now to understand all this application, what we need to do, we need to delete everything that is here. So I'm going to delete everything in the main.dart file. So basically this is very necessary to understand from the very basic, and that is why we will doing the same code from scratch. So first thing first, every programming language except Python that has a main function in it. And the same thing we will be doing. I will be doing my main function. So this is the main function of this application. And after that, I will be running a function that is actually a run app function, that is a built-in application, built-in function that is responsible to build the application. So after this function, and this, if I hover on this function, so this function is accepting a widget. So basically, if we observe, so our whole application is a widget, is enwrapped in a widget, and everything is in Flutter is widget. So let's see how these things work. So inside my run app, I need to place some widgets. So for example, I have material app widget. Okay, for example, if we do not have material app widget, I simply try to show here some text. For example, like, yeah, okay, and yeah, because it's a constant, so we will write here const, otherwise it will give us some warning. So basically this is the very minimal code that we can do with Flutter. And this is a very basic example that how things are working, that this is the main function that every programming language has. And then we have a built-in function that is run app function, and inside this function we will have a hierarchy of widgets, a widget inside a widget, and then we have another widget inside that widget. And in this way we will building that application. So if I hot reload this application, so we will see that it will give me some error. And it will give me some error that we cannot directly use this text. So that is what I wanted to show you, that we cannot directly mention some text here. For example, if I wrap it in some widget that is material, and now if I hot reload it, it will still give me an error. So basically this error is, let me again launch this application. So I just close this application, and let me just remove this material. I want to show you something. Okay, remove this widget. Okay, we have only a run app, and we have a widget that is text widget. So let me just run it once again. Okay, so we can see the ownership change for the affected widget is reach text and root. And the error that I want to show you, I think we can see it here on the console. Yeah, this one. Rich text widget require directionally, uh, yeah, widget ancestor. So this has a whole hierarchy. For example, let me now fix this. Oops. Okay, so we need to have a material app first of all. So basically, this is the very first widget that your application must have, a material widget. So why we are using material and why I'm calling this material thing, let me tell you that basically Flutter uses the material widgets, and let me tell you about the material UI. Uh, Yeah, if we look at this, so we have all the components that is actually Material UI, and Material UI is basically from Google. So that is why we have all the components in Flutter with that is based on Material UI guidelines. If we hit here Flutter Material UI, so we will get to know about the more details on Flutter's official website as well. For example, I told you about the app bar, I told you about the buttons and all these things. So all these things are basically predefined by Material UI guidelines and by the Flutter itself. And we have the library that will be imported automatically. That is actually the Material library. All right, so now we have Material app, and okay, so now what to do. For example, I don't know that how to start with Flutter. So I will just hover on it, Material app, and I will get to know that how much parameters we have, and I can go with. So I will look for child, children, home, body, something like this. So I will get to know about, like, I have a widget that is home. So like parameter, so let's see. Okay, I typed here home, and if I hover on the home, so I will get to know about that I need a widget. So what widget I will be having? For example, we have scaffold. All right, we have a scaffold, and inside this scaffold, let me just switch off this warning. Okay, so inside this scaffold, we need to have a body. First of all, this thing might be confusing for you, but let me just finish it and I will show you that what does each line means. So inside this, I have text. Okay, and now let's relaunch the application. And okay, so it's written here, this is an empty application that has nothing but a scaffold, and it has written definition over this corner. If you can look at this corner, you can have it. Okay, so if I wrap, okay, so let me tell you that this material app is the basically the very first widget. Inside this widget, your whole application will be enwrapped. So this is very important that you must have a material app or material widget as your root. And this was the error that was thrown, and I showed you, uh, and it said the ancestor. So if we talk about this, so this material app is basically ancestor, and this scaffold is its child, and this text is its child. So okay, so now I want to show this text in the center. So what I will do, I will just click on it. I will click on this lamp icon, and I will click on wrap with center. So when I will wrap it with center, and let me just reformat it and hot reload it, so the text will be in center. Okay, please wait for the namaz time. It's azan time. Please wait for 5 minutes. All right, now coming back to our okay. So now we have a bunch of widgets. We have a total of 4 widgets. The very first widget is material app, and the second widget is scaffold. Then we have a center widget that is responsible to center its child. That is basically a widget text widget. And okay, and now this is not looking like an application, so let's change its look and feel and try to build some look and feel like application. So for that, first of all, I need to remove this debug tag from here. So to remove this debug tag, what we need to do, we need to write here debug show check mark banner false, and it will just remove this tag from here. Okay, it has removed. And now I need to do, I need to make some app bar. So inside this scaffold, if I hover it, I will find app bar. So this is app bar. So I will write here app bar, and as I told you, that app bar is also a widget that takes a parameters of, for example, like title, and let's give it title, and inside this title it is expecting some widget, for example, like, okay, we have written in if definition, and let's hot reload it. Okay, so now we have an app bar. We have created an app bar, and inside the body. So what is the body? So all this white space, this is actually the body, and this is the top section. This is actually the app bar. And if I want to show some icons here, so I can also show it in my app bar. So for example, I have some leading parameter, And inside this leading, if we have icon and icons dot favorite. Okay, so now we have icon for favorite here. And if I want to show some icon here, so I will click here actions. And for example, I have icons like, let me change it to menu. Yeah, and let me hot reload it. And yeah, now I have a look and feel of some like we can say an application. And still, if I want to move my this title to the center, I can also do that by turning on the flag center title and turning it on to true. And let me again. Okay, so we are moving forward. So now we have managed till now, and so these are also widgets. So mainly, basically, this is just an icon. So if I will try to click on it, it will be not clickable. It is just an icon. But if we look at this is actually icon button, and inside this icon is just its child, and we have some parameter like on press, and it will be responsible for the functionality of searching. That when we will click on this, so it will be start searching on or whatever the functionality that is assigned to this function. And now look at the themes that we want to explore some themes, for example. And let me just make this text a bit bigger. I think this will be blurry for you or not much visible for you. So for that, we can also do some styling with this. So we have this text widget, and I don't know, for example, that what I can do with text. So I will just hover on it, and I will see either I have style or not. So I'm having style. So I will click here style, and if I hover it, so it will tell me about that it needs a widget of textile type. So I will type here text style, and it will, oops. Okay, actually, I have installed GitHub here, GitHub Copilot, so that is why my code is automatically generating. Okay, so we have definition, and I have increased its font to 30. Okay, so now I think this is visible to all of you. Okay, so now it's time to change the theme, and it's time to tell you some cool stuff about few features. And yeah, let's change the theme of the application. Let's make one. So inside this scaffold, let's see what other options I have. Let me just hover it, and I will see that I have no theme over here. No, I don't have any theme over here. So if I look at okay, so as a beginner, for example, I don't know how to specify a theme. So over on the scaffold, I see that there is no theme parameter. So I cannot assign or make a theme inside this. So I will simply delete it. So I will find a way that how I can assign a theme to my application. So I will hover on my app bar. I will try to find. I will. I'm not able to still find the theme. All right. So I will hover it on my material app widget, and now I will explore. Oh my God, I found this theme. So now what I need to do, I need to go inside this bracket, and inside this parameter, I will mention theme. And all right, we have this theme and we have our primary color blue. For example, I want to change it to red, and yeah, I have changed it to red. And let me just hot reload it to see the results, and I will be getting soon the results. Okay, basically I forgot to mention primary switch. So basically there are two options. The first one is basically the primary color, and the second one is primary switch. So basically the primary switch is responsible for changing the whole theme of your application, not the primary color. Let me just remove it, and yeah, it will behave the same. Okay, for example, you have seen the dark mode option on almost every application, and you probably love this feature. So let's see how to implement that in Flutter. So for example, I want to implement a dark theme functionality to my this application. So let's try for that. So what I need to do, I need to simply call here brightness, and inside brightness I need just to call brightness dot dark. So this is basically a one line of code. This is my line number 11, and this one line will convert my whole application into dark theme. So here we go. So we have our application in the dark theme. So if you have any questions, you may ask. I'm waiting, and in our upcoming sessions, we will be making a WhatsApp clone, and I would like to see you there. And this will be a weekly series of sessions, and we will be conducting workshops on weekly basis on Monday at 12 p.m. And GMT plus 5, because I'm currently in Pakistan, and you need to, if you are from other countries, like I received a comment that hey guys, I am Gilbert from Africa. Okay, welcome Gilbert. So we have from other countries as well, so you need to manage, and you need to have a look at the time, that what is the equivalent time in your country. And if you don't know that how to look at that, let me explain that how you can have a look at that. So what you can do, you can simply go to Google, and you can type here time GMT, and this is actually the GMT time. Currently you can see there is 1:25 p.m. So, and if I look at here the time Pakistan, like Pakistan, and yeah, so this is basically my time. And if you look at this, so basically this is GMT plus 5, that it is actually plus 5 from the standard time. So for example, if you are from Africa, so Africa has actually multiple times. For example, some have GMT plus 1, GMT plus 3, 2, and mostly 1 2 3 around, and overall on the average plus 2. So you need to manage that time. And for the updates, you need to subscribe the definition page, and you need to hit like button, and you will get updates, and you will get to know about all these updates. And that was our session. Hope you enjoyed it. So if you have any question, you are welcome to ask.
All right then. So I guess like let's wrap this workshop up so people can ask questions in comments on YouTube and Facebook, and then we can get back to them after that. All right,
Yeah, sure.
everyone. So thank you very much for joining. We'll have the next part of this workshop next Monday. Allah Hafiz.
All right. Allah Hafiz.